In this video, we're going to replace the rear door handle in this 2008 Acura MDX. When you start this job, you're going to want to start with your window all the way up. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is look for the screws or bolts that hold this door panel on. One's going to be behind here. Use a small flat screwdriver and pop this clip and panel back. So you can use a pick tool to get in behind this panel and pull it out. But you want to do this without marking up the cover itself here. Okay, so we have a couple of Phillips screws in there. So I'm gonna guess that we have some screws or some bolts underneath this plastic trim piece. If you can actually look on the side, you can see that this has been pried up before. So there either are screws in here or there aren't, and somebody tried this as well. Okay, and we do have one in here, one in here, and that should be the two, along with these guys holding this door panel on. All right, so our Phillips screws, we're gonna go for the two big black screws on top, not the small little silver guy in the corner here. All right, now we have one here. And one more in here. All right, so right in here we found a little opening that we can just get our fingertips in. We're gonna reach in there and pull the door panel away while pushing forward with our knees, keeping the door in place. That'll pop the door panel free. If it doesn't, sometimes you'll have to work around the outside of the door panel with a panel tool or a plastic pry tool, popping those clips free. Our door panel look like it is mostly free all the way up. So at this point, what we can do is push up on both sides and lift it away from the door. You don't want to try and take it too far. You have electrical connections. One other thing to point out, when you start to move your door panel, you can see your clips are pointy. A lot of times your speakers are right here exposed. Try not to put your clips into your speakers. So be aware of where those are at all times. Now that they're set away, we can go ahead and start to remove our electrical connections and our door handle connections. All right, so we're going to remove this top wire or cable here. We need to get that clip here underneath and back off of that right there. And we can lift and rotate this catch up. Then we can lift out our cable. And pop it out of the clip and straight out. The bottom one is a little bit easier. We're just going to pry that straight up and off of this metal tab. Rotate that out. And do the same here. These clips here are very small and kind of finicky. Sometimes you'll have luck with a panel tool. We had luck with a hook tool. Okay, and set those aside. And we're going to start working our electrical connections. For this, we're actually going to spin the door panel a little bit. Again, watching our speaker. All right, now if we follow that harness down, we have a connected harness here. So we'll need a panel tool or a clip tool to pop the clip off of the door panel itself. One more. And now our electrical connection to the entry light on our door panel. And with that, your door panel is now free to set aside. So to gain access to our regulator, we need to remove this insulation absorbent pad here. There are some areas where it is stuck to the door, and in some areas where it's plugged to the door. In these areas here, we're going to try a panel tool, see if we can get those plugs out, like so. Okay, and now the rest is going to be stuck on, you can see, with this adhesive here. We're going to try not to separate the adhesive from the backing like it is here. We're going to try and take it all off together as much as possible. All right, well, it looks like most of it's already come off. Okay, we'll need to put our cables through this padding. All right, so now that we have our padding free, it's going to feed our cables through. All right, and so far, that's good enough. All right, we know we need to get right here on the inside. So what we can do is take this padding and just sit it off to the side. If you have a piece of tape, just go ahead and tape it to the front of the door panel to keep it up and out of the way. All right, so straight back behind this plug here is a 10mm bolt that we're going to get access to. If you can get a ratchet or a wrench in through here and work that bolt off that way, go for it. If not, your other alternative is to remove or just move your latch assembly. We're going to do that. We're going to remove these 3 Phillips screws here. I'm going to be very careful not to strip these screws. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove this plug now. And our electrical connection here, it's going to push down with our hook tool. Pull that back. We still have one more Phillips screw. And you can see, because if we reach back and try and move that assembly, nothing's moving. So one more Phillips screw here. All right, so now that our screw's out, you can see that this latch assembly is loose. We're not going to remove this, but what we're going to do is just push it backwards a little and drop it down just enough for us to get to that 10mm bolt in the back here. All right, so we're going to go through that hole we just opened up with a 10mm socket, take that bolt out. All right, so now we're going to take out this 10mm bolt right here. All right, so we have two metal retainers that were held in by the 10mm bolts. One here. Go ahead and pull that one out. And our other one. So this one's just going to slide off. All right, now our handle should only be held in by this rod here. So we're going to unclip that. And pull the rod out of the handle. All right, now that we have the latch rod removed, should be able to pop our handle out from the front. Now we should be able to remove our handle. And the front will rotate out. All right, so we're going to put our handle in front first. We're going to put it in 90 degrees to the vehicle. We're going to get past our little pin here. And we're going to rotate it to the back while pushing it in the front. At this point, you're going to want to take your back portion here. I'm going to press this lever backwards and into the hole. And set it into place. All right, so now we have to reinstall our two clips, front and back. This one's our rear clip. What I like to do is put one hand on the handle from the outside while I put my clip on. Okay, clips in place. Grab one of our two 10mm bolts. And we'll start this thread by hand. I'm just going to get it snugged up to make sure all the locking tabs are in position before we tighten it down. Looks good. So again, coming through this hole here. Now we can move on to the front retaining clip. With our other 10mm bolt, we'll tighten that one down by hand also. All right, what we can do from here, just to triple check, is just reach around the outside, make sure the handle operates freely. Everything looks good. We can continue with our latch mechanism. All right, so we have our latch assembly pretty close to being in place. We're going to take our Phillips screws and just loosely tighten that back up. All right, we're not tightening these down fully. We're just using it to hold the latch in place. We'll come back and tighten these down. All right, now for our rod, that's just going to press back into place. And we're going to lower the retaining clip onto the rod, snap that into place. What we ended up doing to get that clip back on is coming through this hole with a flathead screwdriver and just pressing it into place. Gave us a little more leverage on that clip. All right, so we can reinstall our screw here. We can put our electrical connection back in. Now we can put our plug back in. And we can tighten these down. All right, so the last thing you want to do is close your door and check the function of the latch because you moved it and your handle. But before you do that, with the door panel off, make sure you have these cables out of the way. You don't want to close them and crush the plugs. So for right now, we'll just tuck them here. Close the door. All right, so now we can start to close up our door. We can reinstall our sound baffle or insulation. We're going to push in one clip on top here. I'll pull it back, feed our door handle and lock cable through, as well as our electrical connections through the middle. And put it back into position. Put the last plug in over here and press down anywhere you have that glue or tape still there. All right, so now we can connect our electrical connections back up. We have two of them. We have our window switch here, and we have our entry light here. And now we have a couple of push clips to hold the harness in place. From here we can spin the panel. Again, watching that we're not poking our speaker. We can start to reattach our lock and our door pull. Your clips here, make sure they're ready to go and not spun around reverse of what you need. We'll start with the bottom clip. We're just going to take this and sit it back into the metal tab. And we're going to take our end, pop it into place, and take our locking clip and lock that in place. Next, what we'll do on the top here is we'll lock in the front first. And then we'll take the back. You'll see that there are ribs, almost like a thread, on the cable side, and the opposite of that, receiving end, on this side. Just going to line that up and press your white clip here into place, like that. All right, so now with our interior pieces attached, we can take our door panel, sit it up on top of this ledge here. There's a little hook or a little channel. We can line that up, pull down, give it a nice little tap, a couple of bonks, rotate it in. Now if you remember, we had clips all the way around the exterior, the perimeter of our panel. So now what we're going to do is come back, a couple of taps all the way around the perimeter, locking in those tabs. And to double check, what I like to do is put one hand on the painted part of the door, one hand on the door panel, and just pull outward a little bit. That'll give you a good idea if any clips are free, but this one looks pretty solid, like we got them all. So now we can reinstall our bolts and screws. All right, so now we can install our screws. And 2 more up top. And we can install our cover. All right, and the last piece, your door panel, is going to be this trim. Just going to be these clips. What I like to do is just kind of line it up. And then squeeze this part together. And give these a tap.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.